Hi, so what we're going to do in this video is we're going to create a brand new adventurer. So what I've done, I've printed off an adventure sheet and we're going to follow the instructions in the rule book to creating our new adventurer. So the first step is to assign some characteristic points to these three primary characteristics that we've got here. So we've got strength, dexterity and intelligence, and what you do is you assign 50 in one, 40 in another and 30 in the last one. How you assign them, that's entirely up to you. You could give 50 in intelligence or 50 in strength, and you can mix it up how you see fit. So what we're going to do is we're going to give 50 strength, 40 dex and 30 in intelligence. So moving on, we move on to hero path. There's a section here to record your hero's hero path, and what you need to do is choose or roll on the hero path table H. We're going to roll randomly to create a completely random character, and what it will do is, depending on which one you get, if you was to get a warrior, you would shade in this experience star here, and any experience that you gained when rolling for strength, you would gain extra in that field of learning. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll, and we've got a 1, so we've got a warrior. We'll write warrior in here, and straight away it tells us to shade in the strength experience star, and that we're going to gain plus 10 in strength. And so for now what we're going to do is we're going to just borrow this adjusted box and write in plus 10 for strength. It tells us minus 5 dex and minus 5 intelligence. And then moving on, it provides us with a skill bonus of bravery plus 5. So we write bravery in there, and it will also shade in the experience star for bravery, and plus 5 to escape, and again we will shade in the experience star. And again, on these skill experience tracks, any experience that we gain will be advanced quicker in any that are shaded, any of the experience stars that are shaded. Okay, so the next step is race, and there's 3 races in the game: elf, dwarf and human. And again, you can either roll on the table, race table, or you can decide to choose one. We're going to roll for it, and we scored a 1, which is dwarf, and so we write dwarf under race, and we get plus 5 to strength, minus 5 to intelligence. They're very strong, so we get plus 5 in our strong skill, and again it's shaded. So what we can do now is we can go ahead and apply all these modifiers to our primary characteristics. Until we actually start playing the game now, that is the last adjustment that will be made to these base characteristics. So we've got plus 15 for strength, so that gives us 65. We've got minus 5 to dexterity, so that gives us 35 dex. And then we've got minus 5 and minus 5, which is minus 10 in total, so that gives us an intelligence of 20. So after completing race, we move on to the skill bonus section, and what we get to do is we get to choose any 2 skills that haven't already been boosted and give them a booster of plus 5. So it's just a case of choosing what you like. So I think what I'll do is I'll take plus 5 to locks. No, actually I'll take plus 5 to lucky and plus 5 to magic. So moving on, we move on to equipment, and your adventurer will begin the game with 1 weapon. And We roll on table W for weapon, using a D100 this time. And we get 46, which is a lance. So when you're equipping items to your adventurer, you use the equipment box here. And there's designated areas that items are equipped to. Slots, we call them. So in the case of weapons, you would assign them firstly to your main hand item, to your main hand slot, and if it's a two-handed weapon it would take both hands to use, and so you would use the off-handed slot as well. So my lance is two-handed, so I'll write lance in, and to show that we shade in the number of hands that it takes to use. So it shows you on the chart for the amount of hands that you use, it shows two hand symbols, so telling us that it's a two-handed weapon, and it's a H, a hand weapon, as opposed to R, a ranged weapon, which is used at range. And then we just copy down the details in the correct column. So we've got +1 damage, so we find damage on here and we write +1, and it's worth 123 gold pieces, and it's got a fixed value of 25. So the next thing you do is you roll for armour on table A, armour, and we get to roll 3 times for our starting armour. I roll the D100, and I've rolled 25, which is leather armour to the torso. And we copy down the information. So it's got an armour value of 0, 78 gold pieces and 16 fixed cost. And we make our second roll. We've got 57, which is a studded leather cape, and that goes into our back slot. Tells us that it's our back slot, so we studded leather cape, and that's an armour value of 1. $87 gold pieces value and 18 fixed cost. And then our last roll is 37. So we dress, and that's studded leather solerettes on our feet. It's armour value of 1, gold piece value of 87, and a fixed cost of 18. So one of the things just to clarify with armour, if you're making a roll for your new character and you happen to roll a location of armour that's already got some armour equipped to it, you get to make a choice. So you can either keep the old armour and just roll again, ignore the result that you've rolled, or you can replace the armour with the new one that you've rolled. If you decide to replace the armour with the new one you've rolled, it counts as that roll. So in effect you'll be losing a piece of armour. So the next step is to shade in these pips of oil in your supplies area. So you begin the game with 20 pips of oil, 10 food and 15 picks. And what I've done is I've already shaded them in, so you don't have to watch me shading each one in individually. But basically they're in rows of 10, so it's quite straightforward to decide how many you need to mark off. The next thing that you need to do is you start with 3 lesser healing potions, and they will restore 4 lost hit points. So what you do is there's 2 places they can be stored, either in your belt slot or in this backpack area here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 in this backpack area. They're worth 80 gold pieces. I'm going to equip 1 into my belt slot, And the reason for that is at times during the game this area may get damaged and you might end up losing any equipment that you've got stored in your belt slot. So I've decided to only equip one into my belt. And then the last thing to do is finishing touches. So what we need to do is we need to give ourselves 20 primary health points, and they get stored in this section here. 1 reputation, 3 fate, 3 life, and then you get to name your adventurer.